Hey YouTube, it's Trey again. Welcome back to another beautiful day in the Philippines. Well, at least sometimes it's beautiful. But anyways, I've been asked to do some budget videos. And since it's been more than one person, more than two, obviously, etc., etc., I figured I would go ahead and do that because people want to know how much do you spend on your living expenses. And since I have two places in the Philippines, I figured I'd break it down for you between what's the difference between living in Cebu City and what is living in the province over here in Palompon. So we're going to just start off with Palompon. Okay, so over here in Leyte, in the province, in this small little town, and it's little by my standards, not what they consider it a good sized town. But so for rent, so my rent here for my 1-bedroom apartment is $8,000. It's 8,000 pesos. So put that in perspective. Currently, now obviously everything will fluctuate with the exchange rate. So right now, as I just checked, it's 59 pesos to the dollar. Okay, so that's a little over $100. So that's what I paid just for basically living here. That's what it go to the landlord. Second is my electric bill. Now that fluctuates. It depends on how much time I spend over here, and it can be from anywhere from 1,000 pesos to 2,500 pesos. And you know, with that being said, let's just kind of go for across the board about 2,000 pesos a month. That's the easiest way to do it. Now the water bill is 100 pesos a month. I mean, I don't know about you guys, if anybody else knows, but water back home is going to cost me over $100 a month back in Florida. 100 pesos is less than $2 a month. That's kind of crazy. So I also have Wi-Fi here. So internet service, and it's good. It's high-speed internet, all that other good stuff. And that costs me 1,200 pesos per month. So that's about $20 or so. So you know, if you add all that stuff together, right, based off of what it really is and how everything works out, it's about 11,800 pesos per month. Okay, so, and that's just my basic living expenses. Well, if you add that all up, that's $200 per month based off the exchange rate. Could change any day and it fluctuates. But based off the exchange rate, $200. That's my electricity, internet, water, and rent. So, with that being the case, you know, you could live over here in the province very inexpensively. It's very affordable. I would consider it super affordable. So it's pretty easy to see the appeal of living in the province. Now there's some cons to that, and we'll get to that. And with the cons of that, you know, you got to understand that obviously you're in the province, so you're not going to have everything you want readily accessible. You know, if you want some westernized foods or you want things to do things, you're going to have to drive or take a multi-cab or you know, go to Ormoc, which is about an hour from here. Or if you need something else, you may need to go to Tacloban, that's 2.5 hours from here. You know, otherwise you're going to really need to focus on learning how to adjust and buy local foods and local fruits and vegetables and, you know, things of that nature. Now, that's where it kind of gets a little sticky for me because I'm real particular on my meats. If I'm going to buy meats, I want to make sure that I don't get any bad meat. And if you go out here, you realize that their meats are cut and sitting out in the open and the room temperatures, and you know it's hot in the Philippines too, right? So unlike back in the US where everything's refrigerated and kept cool so the bacteria don't grow, they don't do that here. It's like you go to the fish market, the fish is just on the table. They're not in ice buckets. They're not, you know, being refrigerated. They're just there. So, you know, if you got a sensitive stomach, that could be an issue. So I will go spend a little bit more money and go down the street here because I found a place that I can get chicken breast, Magnolia chicken breast, that's frozen. So that means that they processed it and froze it, and I don't really have to worry about those bacterias and those other things that could mess up your stomach. And it's very easy to get a stomach bug or food poisoning or something, especially if you're not used to eating their types of foods with, you know, that they eat this way all the time, so their stomachs are used to it. Well, the last 3 days, obviously I ate something that was not good for me or whatever, because I've had cramps and diarrhea and everything else. And let me tell you, I don't know what it was. I hadn't figured out what I ate or what I did, and it could have been something as simple as ice that was in a drink that I had. I have no idea. Or I ate some local food that was a donut or something that was just made, and I'm not used to it. Either way, you want to be careful on those things, especially being, you know, from westernized countries. You know, we take precautions to the extremes on those things. Now, I'm going to add some other things to that Polompon, all right? So, you know, there are other things that you spend other than your basic, right? So I have a phone, and I have a local phone number and everything else. And I spent 899 pesos for 2 months at a time, okay? So that's, what, 450 pesos per month? But I buy it in 2 month increments because A, it's cheaper, or it's more affordable, and it suffices for me to use my Gcash. I got internet service. I can use Google Maps, hook it up to my car, you know, to listen to Spotify when I'm driving, or, you know, whatever it is that I want to do. So that's a little bit added expense there. And let's see. Now, the grocery bill. All right. So that's what I was talking about earlier, right? So you're going to spend, if you're going to get those westernized foods, or you're going to drive over to Ormoc or those other places, you're going to spend more. And that is what it is. Now, you're going to spend, you know, 5K to 10K. So in other words, less than $100, about 90 bucks, are, you know, about 180 bucks total per month buying groceries, you know. But on the same token, that's because I spend a little bit more on certain things. I'm learning to eat some of the local vegetables and things like that. But there's some things I'm still very particular on, and I'm not quite willing to try just yet. I'll get there maybe. After this last 3 days, though, it may take me a little longer than I thought. But, you know, you need to go out to these other towns in order to get certain types of foods if you're not going to eat those local foods, right? But worst case scenario, I can take my butt down the street here, which is a 5-minute walk, and there's a Jollibee's. I can always get some fried chicken, and I'm good to go. All right, so, you know, if you did all that and you put all that different things in there, that would bring your total budget, at least for me, to about 22,600 pesos, or 385 US dollars per month. Okay, so less than 400 bucks. You can pay all your living expenses, your foods, you know, everything you need. That's just to live, obviously. If you're gonna do something else with, you know, some entertainment purposes, or you know, you want to go on some trips or things like that, obviously you're going to need a little bit more than that. But if you're living in the province, you know, and you're on a tight budget, you could actually live here very, very easy and comfortable. So, with that being the case, yes, my total cost to stay here and run this place. You know what? I forgot one other thing. I have a maid. I have a housekeeper, and I pay her $6K a month. So that's about $100. So let's just throw that in there. That's, let's just say $485. So let's just call it an even 500. All right, let's just call it like it is. So $500. That's my apartment, electricity, water, internet, a maid, you know, who cooks, cleans, does my laundry, and pays my bills for me. You know, for $500 a month. I don't know anywhere else I can do that. All right. So, with that being the case, now to show you the big difference, okay? Now, if you're over in Cebu City, things can get a little pricier. All right, so we're just going to talk about what it's like in Cebu, right? And Cebu City is different. All right, you got a lot more conveniences. There's a lot of foreigners and expats. That's where all the businesses are. That's where, you know, anything you possibly could want, it's there. So you're paying for convenience. They're building condos. They're building houses. It's very populated, so it's going to cost more, no matter what. Just like anywhere else in a Western country or anywhere else in the world, for that matter. But so my rent, and I have a bigger place. Obviously, it's a 2-bedroom apartment with a balcony on the 7th floor, and that cost me 35,000 pesos a month. Now that right now that's $596 a month for my 2-bedroom place. Now, that's still super affordable, right? I mean, let's be realistic. It's hard to find anything like that at least in America, I know for sure. All right. So next thing is 270 pesos for my water bill there. Now, remember, it's 100 pesos here in the province, and it's 270 pesos there in Cebu City. But that's still only $5, right? That's, I mean, come on, $100 in the U.S. and Florida, $5 in Cebu City, and less than $2 in the province. All right, so my internet is 1,699 pesos for the internet in my condo in Cebu, which is obviously a little more expensive, right? But that's about $29 US. So my grocery bill now there is a little bit different. All right, so I go to Landers, I go to SNR, you know, to get my meats and get certain things. Why? Because it's the place where I can get some of my westernized products, you know, like my Kraft macaroni and cheese, ground beef, you know, chicken breast, things like that that I feel comfortable with. So I spend a little bit more when I go there in Cebu City. No problem though, because I get to get a few of the things that I like. And so I usually spend about 15,000 pesos a month for groceries on average. That's about 250 US dollars, right? That's still not bad for getting, you know, pork, chicken, ground beef, you know, all the stuff that I would like to eat and things of that nature. All right, so now let me see here. Now that doesn't include, you know, any things like if I want to go out to Fridays or Texas Steakhouse, or the social or, any place that I want to go that's extra. Now, this is just about the basic living expenses, right? So, with that being the case, my total bill in Cebu is about 52,000 pesos a month, which is about 885 US dollars by today's conversion rate. So my total bill in both places, the province and in Cebu City, right, is 1,385 US dollars a month. Now remember, that's two places. That's a maid, that's electricity, that's water, cell phones, groceries, So if you look at it in the aspect of the average Social Security recipient in America averages about 1,600 US dollars a month, right? They can live here, retire here for a lot less, and their quality of life would improve immensely. It would be so much better because they can't even pay rent on 1,600 US dollars a month. I know, at least when I left Florida, there was no place that you could rent, for less than 2,000. It's just kind of crazy. So anyways, that's my budget in both places, and so I hope that that explains that, and now you got a good idea on what it costs to spend. Now, me personally, I'll tell you that what I do personally is I budget myself, and I do. I budget myself 4,000 US dollars per month for living here in the Philippines. Okay, that way I can pay my bills here, and I have money to go on some trips or go exploring or buy things extra that I don't necessarily need, but I have the money available to do so. There's a reason I was able to go out and pay cash for my scooter and pay cash for my car. It is what it is. That's just what I budget myself, because I still have a house in Florida, so I still have to pay for stuff. It is what it is. But my kid's back there taking care of it and everything else, so it's all good. But yeah, I still have to pay bills and stuff there. So I have to budget myself, and I stick to that budget. And that's probably really important that you do so too. Okay? Well, the budget video is definitely gone, and I definitely don't want to go over 20 minutes. So, look guys, I hope this was helpful. Let me know if there's something I missed or something else you want to know about, and I will do it for you. And all right guys, peace.